She's thriving. Plant mom. Come with me for another Explore DC. I'm excited. I'm gonna go hopefully to 3 places I've never been or haven't been yet, but have been on my list. One of which is a bookstore, but not a traditional one, so stay tuned. And then the other is a art gallery museum, which normally costs like 20 bucks to get into, which in DC, that's like, we're kind of spoiled out here. You get such high quality galleries and art museums for literally free. But I've heard so many great places about this place, and I just found out that they do free admissions every Thursday. No, that's not true. Free admissions on the 3rd Thursdays of every month. So, and it happens to be that today, and that wasn't even planned, so that's how I feel like it's meant to be. But stay tuned. It should be a fun day. Okay, so the first stop was to try out this coffee shop that I had been hearing so much about called Dua DC, and it's basically the first women-owned Indonesian specialty coffee shop in DC, and it seems like they're super intentional just about everything for the most part. So their coffee-based drinks use beans from different islands in Indonesia, and they're very intentional about working with a farmer that practices ecologically sustainable coffee production. So I was super intrigued when I read that. But I got to try out their kopi susu, and it's basically an Indonesian style latte with condensed milk, and it was delicious. And I came in around like a 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock on a Thursday, and it was very busy, no place to actually sit inside, so I just walked with it. Then I went to Ching Cha, and it's a tea shop that I've been wanting to check out forever. And I may be dramatic because I just moved to DC like a year ago, so I have been wanting to try it out for at least a year at this point. But unfortunately, they had paused their tea service for the time being, but they were located in Georgetown, and they've been open since 1998. And if you go inside, you can see you can just tell that they love what they do the second you walk in. Everything looks so beautiful, and it oozes that, you know. But anyways, I had gotten 3 teas, and it took me, I kid you not, probably like 30 minutes to decide which ones to get because all of the options looked really good. They also have like hand-picked teapots there. They have different gifts from Asia, but I am excited for when they do reopen for their tea service because I will definitely be there. It's very calming in there. Okay, so the bookstore was closed, but it was like for an event, so I think it's open now. But I got to go to a really cool tea shop, which I've been wanting to go to, so I'm excited for the teas I got. But now back to the bookstore. Now I'm on my way to JF Books, and they caught my eye a couple months ago while at the farmer's market. But it looked like there was a lot of people at the time inside, so I was like, I'm just gonna come back another day. And today was that day. I started doing my research on them though, and I was actually blown away. So they started in China. At one point they had about 8 branches, and for over 2 decades they advocated for critical thinking and love of reading through curated lectures, forums, readings, independent documentary screenings, and so much more. And they seemed extremely rooted in community. But according to their website, the bookstore Their commitment to open dialogue clashed with the tightening grip on freedom of expression, which led them to have to close all their locations. But they opened up back in DC called JF Books, and they have a vast selection of books translated to English about and written by a bunch of different authors from the Asian diaspora. So I bought one book, but I'm sure I will be back for events and to buy many more because, again, there's so much I feel like we don't actually know, and so I just want to keep learning. I feel like when you let curiosity lead you, like, you're on an adventure. Like, you learn and you grow so much. As you can see, I made it to the Phillips Art Collection, but to be honest with you, by this time I was pretty tired, so I only spent like an hour here, and I feel like there was probably a lot of rooms I missed. I would highly suggest dedicating like 3 hours to this place, so I'm excited to check it out again next third Thursday. So I have no idea what my brain was going through this morning. You know, I don't know if you've ever had like those moments where you take the most simplest task and complicate it for some reason. That was one of those mornings. I was trying to make tea, and then at one point I realized maybe I should strain it. And also it needed 20 ounces of water, so I was like, well, I should probably measure this out. Anyways, I ended up using my blender to measure out 20 ounces of water.
Is 20 ounces.
And then I put it in a pot. I already heated up the water, but I put it in a pot so it could sit with the tea. And then I was like, oh, but I need to strain it. But every time I pour from a pot, without fail, I seem to spill. So I was like, well, let me put it back into this other container, the one I heat up my water with. That way it has like an easier pour. And then at one point I was like, well, if I pour it into here, it will spill. So let me use a bowl, the tiniest bowl, to try to get it in there. And I was like, no, this will actually take me forever. So then I ended up just pouring it, spilling it. Not a big deal. I spilled a little bit. And then I sipped it in my little coffee mug. And here we are. So it worked. But it was a process. But it was worth it.
Welcome back. Thank you again for being here. So I wanted to share some of the things I got from my little adventure this week. I went to his tea store and I got 3 teas. I got a lemon twist, I got an oriental beauty, and then I got one called 8 Treasures. And it comes like these packets, and it's a whole process, at least for me, because I didn't have the proper equipment, so you'll see, but I need it. It's here. Success. Woo! It's good. It has a lot of flavor. But yeah, I also went to a bookstore and I got this one, JF Books, called Human Acts. It's by Han King, and one of the people that worked there told me she was like a Nobel Peace Prize winner, and so I was like, amazing. The bookstore itself was really amazing. It recently opened, I want to say in September, so it's still fairly new, but honestly, it's for my light research, it is a space that is determined to educate and share and uplift voices, so I'm very excited that they're here in DC. I want to kind of share, some journaling I've been doing recently. One of the things that I thought was really important is that you set the standard for how other people treat you. So you have to make sure you value yourself and you give yourself that self-love and you hone in on making sure you treat yourself the way you deserve to be treated, because you set the standard, you set the precedent. Is that the right word? I don't know. But this week I had a really good pep talk with myself, and it was like, stop putting so much pressure on yourself. Stop. The only reason why you're reaching these levels of frustration is because you're trying to fit into some box and you're trying to do things the way that other people do them, or because that's like the norm. But if that frustration is happening, maybe there's a reason. Maybe you don't have to stick with the way things have always been done. Like, that's the beauty of whatever you create. Again, it's whatever you want it to be, and so you don't have to follow rules if you don't want to. You can edit things differently. You can talk differently. Like, it's okay. Stop adding pressure to try to be something that you're not, because you're only diminishing like your own light. So I've been telling myself that a lot lately. So hopefully you'll see a difference in these videos, and you'll see, because I feel like when I do these and I shoot these, I don't feel the most natural. I feel like everything has to be perfect and I have to say the right words, and that's just not realistic, especially for me. I tend to mispronounce things, and me trying to present myself a certain way to everybody is me not really accepting all that I am. You are here, you are breathing. If you are still here, there's a reason for your life, and don't ever try to be something you're not. Just embrace all that you are, because again, no one else can be you. That's the one thing that you can do that no one else can. You trying to be like somebody else will just be, you'll be secondhand. But you being you can thrive at it, darling. So yeah. Okay. I might have said enough now. It's like 10 minutes in. But I hope there's at least one nugget of truth in this, and one helpful thing in this. As always, I am so grateful for you being here, and thank you again.